Hello and welcome once again to Adamazi TV. We are delighted to have you here with us in our midst. And today we are bringing you surprising facts about Africa that you may or may not have heard about. Africa is the world's second largest continent and is home to some of the most beautiful countries in the world with some of the most unique landscapes and wildlife, which is why it is a top holiday destination. Here are some fun facts about Africa, and we hope that after watching this wonderful video brought to you by Adamazi TV, you will be even more intrigued about this wonderful continent, Africa. Let's go! Number 1. Africa covers 30 million square kilometers. Africa is a huge continent and is divided up into 5 subsections: North Africa, East Africa, Central Africa, Southern Africa, and West Africa. The entire of Africa covers almost 10 million square miles, which makes up to more than 20% of the world's land. The most widely spoken language is Arabic. This may be a somewhat surprising fun fact about Africa. Due to the fact that there are 54 countries in Africa, there are many different languages spoken. However, the most widely spoken language here is Arabic by 170 million people, followed by English by 130 million people, then Swahili, French, Berber, Hausa, and Portuguese. There are also many different languages that are spoken here, which we doubt you have even heard of. Illiteracy is as high as 40% across the continent. Although Africa holds many different resources, it is a continent where many of the countries have vast numbers of their population living in poverty. This has led to 40% of adults in Africa being illiterate. The worst affected areas with shocking illiteracy over 50% are in Ethiopia, Chad, Gambia, Sierra Leone, Senegal, Niger, Benin, and Burkina Faso. Surprising fact that you may or may not have heard about is that Africa was once made up of 10,000 states. Before colonial rule, Africa was made up of 10,000 different states and autonomous groups, each with their own very distinct language and unique customs. This pre-colonial disjointed Africa could explain why there are so many languages spoken and why many of the languages spoken in regions of Africa are not spoken elsewhere. Africa's Sahara Desert is bigger than the USA. As previously mentioned, Africa is the hottest continent on the planet, and so much of its land is made up of deserts. The Sahara, being the largest desert in the world, is truly vast. Its expansive size is 9.4 million square kilometers, bigger than the entire USA. Another interesting fact about the Sahara is that it is actually growing in size as it is expanding in the southern region at a rate of half a mile per month, which equates to 6 miles per year. There are less than 9 miles separating Africa and Europe. There are many differences in culture between Africa and Europe. Firstly, because they both host so many different countries with many different cultures. However, at their closest point, they are less than 9 miles apart. At the Strait of Gibraltar between Morocco and Spain, they are less than 9 miles, stretching the distance, and now the two countries are in talk about an undersea network to make Africa-Europe travel easier and more convenient, which will be more fantastic for future safari holidays. "23 Africans have been awarded the Nobel Prize." 23 Nobel Prizes have been received by Africans. It is a small but prestigious list, with notable winners being Nelson Mandela, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Kofi Annan, and the most recent Denis Mukwege. That there are 280,000 windmills in South Africa. The Netherlands are most renowned for their windmills, but South Africa is actually the home to 280,000 windmills. This can be found on farms across the country, and the numbers here are much higher than the Netherlands figures, which have only ever recorded a total of 10,000 windmills. Lastly, in today's series about surprising facts of Africa, did you know that the oldest university in the world is found in Africa? Although many adults are illiterate here, Africa is actually home to one of the oldest universities in the world, built in the 12th century. Timbuktu in Mali has become the center of all intelligentsia, and historians have even branded it as the Paris of medieval times. The University of Timbuktu was built in 982 CE, and it is one of the oldest known educational establishments in the world. Well, that'll be all for today on this series of surprising facts about Africa. We hope to see you next time, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, and drop a comment in the comment section. I'm Blessing, reporting from Adamazi TV.